everyone, and a very big welcome to Becoming More Against All Odds. My name is Mimaka Nemebuka, and I thank you all for being here, especially our subscribers and everyone that views our channel. I thank you because I know that your time is precious and I value your time. Now, on this channel, Becoming More, the desire, the hope I have is that we'll all attempt to become more than we are by putting our feet, one foot in front of the other, to achieve a lot more. Because there's a lot more ground to cover. The universe, as we know, is quite enormous. We're well endowed. Anything we want to be, we can be. So I pray and hope that at the end of each of the episodes, there's a little lesson that you have learned that's going to help you become more, to achieve your dreams, not to remain as status quo. To all the dreams you've had that have been lying docile, you can activate them and actualize them. That is the purpose for this podcast. Now, and today we're going to be talking about how to build resources for the future, the common sense perspective. Now, I say common sense perspective because we know that it's not every professional, it's not everybody with a degree in economics, in financial management, that has a successful life. You know, it takes a lot more than just your academic prowess, your degrees and all that. So common sense way is what we're going to talk about. We know our grandmothers and mothers that actually achieved a lot, but they didn't go to school. So what is the common sense way or common sense perspective in building resources? That's what we want to talk about. And I want to start by saying that what's asking us, what is a resource? What can be termed a resource? For me, a resource is any flow of assets, that you can draw on. A flow of assets you can draw on to achieve, to derive a benefit. Anything, any asset you can use to assist, to enhance your life, to become more, to achieve your dreams is a resource. And resources can be tangible or intangible, and then they are categorized into various types. Like you have material resources, you have human resources, you have information resources, and you have emotional resources, amongst many others. That and maybe any other category that but I want to talk about this for today. So the first category I want to talk about is the material resources. And we know that material resources are tangible resources. We're talking about assets, we're talking about cash, we're talking about equipments. If you have a rig, you have plowing equipment like for the farm, or you have anything that is an equipment that can give you some money, or you have lands, you have other commodities like gold, precious stones. These are tangible resources that you can, lay hold on. And building such resources, I would say, takes a lot of time. It takes time. It's not something that you can do, at a go. I know that some of us may have very wealthy ancestry. We have family or fathers, mothers that left, wealth to us when they die. But most of us had to build. We have to build on this resource. We build on material resources. And how do we do that? Common sense way, I would say, would be that you save. Whatever income you make, whatever endeavor you're having, and you make some money, make sure that you keep some aside, a percentage aside, for future use. Some of us, like my people will say, the Igbos will say, Akpirogologo. Others will say, my people will say, Pokongbolo. That is like whatever you see you want to buy because you have some money in your pocket. That is not a good way to build material resources. You have to learn to be prudent. You learn to have integrity in spending. You don't pick anything you see. Oh, this bag is in vogue. You go and pick, you buy it. Or this one, everybody's wearing this kind of shirt. You go and buy. No, You have to learn to have prudence, integrity, and then you learn to save. That is the first step to build material resources. And save into, save for your future, save into retirement, for instance, account, save into, there are some savings accounts some banks operate that you would have to leave the money for a while, and they give you an interest at the end of the period. It could be 3 months, it could be 4 months. Some even give monthly. I know that there was an account I opened like that, and I was getting monthly income. What I did was that from my business, the profit I got, I was pushing it into this savings account, and I was able to get some money on top of what I had. So savings is a very important way to build material resources. The second aspect I want to talk about, common sense way, is that you buy and sell. Buy and sell. You can buy shares, you can buy bonds and all the rest, and the people who are knowledgeable in that field, you buy and then you sell. Or you buy, like all of us use toothpaste, we use other cleaning materials, and we pick them off the shelf from a supermarket. But there are companies that you can buy from, and then you get some dividend out of. Like all this, that's what network marketing is all about. You buy, as you buy at the end of the month, they give you profit for using their product. So look for avenues like that where you can buy and sell. And then you can even buy shoes, you buy bags, anything that you can sell, to make some profit. You buy and you sell. That way you get some profit, and then you save it up for a bigger venture. There is this common saying that it's not how much money you make, but how much money you're able to keep that is important. It's not how much money that you're paid at the end of a contract or that. How much are you able to keep back? You're able to save for future. That is what is very important. Another aspect, another tip to building material resources is that you start small. Do not be enticed by this get rich quick schemes where they make you invest a little and then they promise you heaven and earth. Most of these schemes don't work. So what you do, start small. Whatever you have, start with it. Do something small and then build on it. With time, you find that you're building material resources. Invest. Another way is that as you build and then you save, as you're building your account, you invest. Invest in diversified portfolio. Invest in anything that you see somebody is doing. Enter into partnership with people and share profit. That way, you're building material resources. The second aspect, the second resource I want us to talk about for me, which is very important dear to my heart, is emotional resources. Emotional resources. What are emotional resources? Emotional resources refer to your inner man, your inner well-being. Talks about your resilience. Talks about your ability, your coping abilities. That's emotional resources. How are you inside? What are you inside? Are you well? Are you whole inside? That is emotional resources. And how do you build on emotional resources? So emotional resources are an ace for me, because your gold mines, your diamond fields, and your Ferrari and whatever you have, your landed properties, your estates, will not mean anything to you if you're emotionally unstable. And that is why we tell people to take care of their mental health. It's very important for you to take care of your mental health. And recently, WHO came up with a different definition for mental health. It says that it's not just the absence of mental illness, but it's your ability to cope with challenges. That is mental health, mental well-being. Are you able to cope with challenges? Are you able to find resilience? Because this world is filled with a lot of problems. Are you able to cope? And I want to tell you that your mental health is intricately related to your physical health. If you're mentally well, if you're mentally sound, you most likely would have a good physical health. Because you're mentally sound, your relationships and everything will be sound. And then you'll be able to exercise, you'll be able to eat well, you'll be able to, have, faith in people, and your relationships will thrive if you have good emotional health. Take care not to get depressed by doing the same things over and over again. Look for fun things to do. And most especially, I tell people, don't stay in an environment, where that is filled with toxicity. You find people talking down on you. They are never satisfied with what you do. They never see anything good in you. Build such, resilience, build buffers against such things. Stay away from toxic environments. Take time out to relax, have fun, swim, walk. Take time out to take walks. Watch movies. Anything that you think will enhance you, will make you better, that will relax you. Do it, and then you take care of your emotional health. By that way, you're affecting your physical health. Once a very good friend of mine told me long ago, which has helped me, said, the Holy Spirit will need your body, your physical body. Your talents will need your body. So take care of your body. And when we're talking about body, we're talking about both emotional and physical body. So it's very important to do that. Then I also found somebody, one client that was introduced to me recently, who had so much money. In fact, he had thousands or millions, not thousands, millions of dollars. But because he was not well, other people were made to manage his business. And that is why you find some very wealthy people committing suicide. Celebrities, you find, they say, they died in their hotel room. They went and then they left a suicide note. Take care of your emotional health. Take care of your mental health. Your emotions. Make sure that you take care of them. I was reading a book by Joyce Meyer recently. She wrote it long ago, but I reread it, talking about the battlefield of the mind. And she was saying that we don't know that your mental health controls your entire being. We pay attention to very frivolous things instead of paying a lot more attention to our mental health. Above all, for emotional health, I want to tell us that we need to pray and we need to meditate. Prayer and meditation, they're very important things because they build hope in us. And scientific studies have proven that hope is very important to a man's life. If you have hope, you find that you're ready to get up and face whatever the day has. You will not be depressed. You will not give in to fear because you know that there is hope for you and that there is a God that still answers prayers. God answers prayers. He's still in the business of answering prayers. So tomorrow will be better than today. So you get up and then you fight the battles that arise each day. That is why it's very important to pray and meditate on the word of God so that it gives hope to you. There's hope is a very big force in the universe. Anybody that is hopeless is gone. I'll give you a story. I read a long time ago, about a man that was given a diagnosis that he had cancer, a kind of cancer that was going to take him out in 3 months. And the doctors were so sure that he had that kind of cancer. I've forgotten the time. It was a long time ago on Discovery. The program was on Discovery Channel. And this man went home and then he hung a 3 months calendar on his bedside and was ticking the days out. As the days were going, he was ticking them until about the 3rd month. A little above the 3rd month, he died. And when they did an autopsy, they found out that there was nothing that could have killed him. There was no disease condition that he would have died from. So it was the hopelessness that he had. Hopelessness that killed him. So we need to take care that we build hope, fight depression and fear by meditating and praying to God, who is the God of the universe that can make all things happen. So that is about emotional resources. Human resources. What are human resources? These are the relationships that are that we have, our associations, our partnerships, helps that are human that we have around us. And I tell you, you can never do without. You're not an island. Everybody needs somebody. Somebody said you are as rich as your associations. I remember Bishop T.D. Jakes in 2025 as commencement speaker, Maurice Brown College. He said that if you want to be a leader, you have to be in the midst of leaders. What is it that you aspire to be? You have to surround yourself with such people, like minds. That way, you'll be motivated to do more. But if you go and then you are with people that don't have dreams, people that don't know what they want to be tomorrow, they want to do, in the next couple of years, you may have to go to their level. But that is why it's important that you surround yourself with people that you look up to, people that motivate you to be more, people that can fan your embers and tell you that do this, do that, let's do this, let's do that. Your human resources are very important. People that you surround yourself with is very important. That is one. Another thing you can do is you build yourself up by learning in-demand skills. Get in-demand skills. Some time ago, I was mentoring 2 young women and teaching them how to learn some other skills other than academics. And then I found out that one of them said to me, I'm going to study very hard. I'm going to come up with a first class, and then I'll be called to be a lecturer and an assistant in the university. I said, fine, but you need to learn how to do some other things. She didn't actually buy into the idea. She graduated top of her class, was valedictory speaker for that year in her class. But the girl suffered, especially where I come from, where jobs are not, government jobs are not easy to find. Right now, she teaches in a private school. She teaches in a private school and she's not fulfilled. But the other girl learned how to sew, learned how to make hats and all that, even before she went into school, into the college. And then she thrived, became a very known dressmaker. So learn to look at your environment and see if there are in-demand skills. Is it baking? Is it sewing? Is it painting? Is it whatever it is that you find that people want or need? Learn those skills, computer skills, and all those things, and it will help you. And I also read during the dark ages of the Holocaust how that some of the Jews, that were artisans and then bakers, cooks, dressmakers and all that, were exempted from the gas chambers. I'm sorry to say, but I read a story like that. I know how sensitive this is. And they were saved from the gas chambers to cater for the needs of the soldiers. So learn these things. They will save you. You're building resources for yourself in the future. And you never know where they will come. And especially these days that most people don't have jobs. It's not everybody that must go to college and get a white-collar job. Even if you have a white-collar job, these are things you can do on the side. And you will be able to survive the hardships that are in the world. So the final category I want to talk about is information or data resources. We all agree that this is the millennium for data and information. In fact, if you don't have data and information, you're like so many decades behind. Data, information rules the world. So we have to know what is the trend. What are the trends that are available? What are the things that we can do? And so much is available on the internet. Not to talk of AI that is booming right now. Whatever you need to know, you can get from the can surf from the internet. So you have to be you have to be computer savvy. You have to know how to surf the internet and get every information that you need. Is it planting? The other day I wanted to plant watermelon. I was looking for tips. I went to the internet and I got very useful information. There is data. There is a lot happening in the world. You'll be surprised to know how obsolete what you've known, what you knew so many years back is. So please, everybody, get on point with your computers and the internet and know what is on, what is trendy, what you can do with it. And then when we do that, we'll find it that we're building resources for the future. Let this age, like me, people like my age, we're not brought up with the computer and all that, but we can learn, at least do the basic things that you can with the computer, learn. When you do that, you're building resources, you'll be able to navigate the world and travel. Information is about, you can gain information by traveling the world. If you're confined to a place, you would think that is, the world revolves around you, but it's a lot more you can conquer. So learn to travel, take trips, and then read books, read again, and learn how you can become more in your knowledge and information. That way you're building up yourself for a better tomorrow. You're building resources for yourself. And then you're going to leave generational. It's a legacy that you can leave for your people, for your children. When your children see you that even in old age or advanced age, you're doing a lot more, you're pushing yourself. You challenge them. And then they too will thrive to become more. I know that these things are not new to us, but it's just for us to rise up and begin to have the zeal to do more and conquer the world. There are so many odds that may be against us. Some people will say that I can't do this because I tried severally and I failed. I've tried my hands, on so many businesses. I didn't thrive. I didn't do well. You don't have an excuse. I have no education. That is what some other people's excuse. I have no education. I know so many uneducated people that are business moguls that have a successful life, but they didn't go to formal education. They didn't go through formal education. My mom, for instance, was not educated. She didn't have the privileges of a formal education. But by the time she died, she left some estates, some landed property for us. What did she do? She was saving small, saving from what she had, save until she was able to build this place, build that one, until she passed. So we can learn from our parents, learn from our grandparents, how they navigated life and how they thrived, how they became more, and put in our best. We have so much at our disposal. We don't have any excuse not to be successful. I'm saying this because I see a lot of young people, going around begging and doing some other things that they're wasting their time to do. Going into crime and all. When you have legitimate means of being successful, just by having integrity, being prudent, whatever you have, save it. Learn talents that you can begin to make some profit from. Draw from those assets and invest into other portfolios. By so doing, you're building up. And before you know it, it's not all of us that will be millionaires, definitely. But we can all thrive. We can all be comfortable. We can all pay our bills, pick our bills, and be able to help one another. So I pray and hope that this has helped us. And if it has, I thank God. Please join me next time. And until that time, thank you. Bye.